Hello you lot, this is KeefCooks. I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do something that is probably the best thing ever. I'm going to make homemade dry cured bacon. I could be right. Most bacon eaters agree that bacon is the best thing, and so homemade dry cured is even better than the best thing, because it just is, because it hasn't got water injected into it, and it's, you know, genuine, pure, unadulterated, only one dodgy chemical, and it's fabulous. But it does take about 7 to 10 days to do, so I'm going to have to leap into the time machine and go backwards a week and get a clean shirt on the way. Ugh. Oh, I hate doing that. We're going to make bacon. So, some Americans are confused about what bacon actually is. Generally what they're used to only is what we call streaky, so it's layers of fat and meat. But we also have back bacon, which is the loin of the pig and a little bit running down into the belly. This chunk of belly that I've got has been deboned, and you need it like that, and we're going to need to cut off the skin or the rind. I can remember as a kid, they would leave that on, and you would think, is that edible? And basically it wasn't, but it was there, and it never got cut off. Happy days. So you also want some curing salt. Now this might be controversial to some people because it's mostly sodium nitrate. I'll put it in a jar. So this contains salt and a preservative, in brackets sodium nitrate. You might think that'll cause you cancer, in which case don't eat bacon. I don't think the evidence supports the idea that you can get cancer from eating bacon, unless you eat like a whole lorry load every day for many years, and you don't generally do that. So I'm going to cut the rind off. Easier said than done, but okay, we're getting it. And leave the fat on, you don't want to be. I read an article online by an American person talking about British bacon and explaining how we have two types. We have streaky and we have rashers. Okay, and rashers is only applied to the other type, which is, well, the author didn't specify because there is not a type called rashers. A rasher of bacon is just a slice. Rasher equals slice. This author said that famous food writer Hugh Fernley Whittingstall in his meat book failed to mention rashers completely, so you know, our Hugh knows nought about bacon. It tickled me. And there's also another kind of bacon, or there used to be, middle bacon. But there is another characteristic of bacon, which is the type of cure. It can be wet cured, which is basically soaking in brine, or it can be dry cured. So dry cured is better, that's what we're going to do here. But wet cure is quicker and is generally what's done industrially. And the manufacturers are allowed to inject brine up to 10% of the mass into the bacon, into the meat, which is why when you put that in a hot frying pan, all that horrible liquid moisture comes out. That is the brine. Not great. Okay, I'm keeping that. I'll use that to make crackling or something with. Now we have to do a little calculation to figure out how much of the cure we need to use. So to do that we need to know how thick the meat is at its thickest point. So that's 47 millimeters for the back, and we need its weight. That's 943. We'll call it 950. Now we need to use 50 grams of curing salt per kilo of meat. We'll call it 50 grams. And then the curing time depends on the thickness of it's 1 day for every 13 millimeters or ½ inch of thickness. We've got about 4 days worth plus 2 extra days, so that'll be 6 days of curing. That's my 50 grams of salt, curing salt. So I'm just going to rub this all over into the meat, into all the little grooves and crevices and so on. And then we just pop that into a Ziploc bag and we zip it shut and stick it in the fridge for, well, 6 days we worked out. But you need to turn it over every day. Lovely, yummy, homemade bacon in 6 days' time. So both the kinds of bacon that I've done have had a day or two more than I calculated. I don't think that matters. I think that might actually help. And you see there's a lot of moisture which has come out of the bacon, and that's because we're dealing with salt, which, you know, soaks up or pulls out moisture. So we need to give these a good rinse under cold water and then pat them dry, and you want to hang them up for a few hours to dry completely and to form a kind of, well, a skin. It's called a pellicle. Might be an idea to pre-drill the hole, but I didn't do that. So butcher's hook in each corner. If you can put them in a sort of slightly drafty place where there's a bit of wind or a breeze, rig up a fan to blow over them. That will speed up the process. So I'm going to put mine over here on my camera slider rail and put the extractor on. Magic. I won't have it on while I'm trying to talk. So yeah, a couple of hours and it'll dry, it'll develop a kind of slightly stickiness, a sticky film. Tomorrow morning I'll put it in the freezer till it's almost frozen, and then I'll be able to slice it much more easily. Okay, so I'm going to wrap these in the cloth and stick them in the freezer for about half an hour just to get them chilled and firm so that I can slice them thin enough to be recognisable as bacon. Although, you know, I do like a good thick slice. Okay, let's slice the bacon. Commercial back bacon is quite a lot bigger than this. I think the big manufacturers must buy up all the big pig bits, and us consumers just get the little bits left over. So if you can be bothered, just slice up the whole thing, and really want to use it within, you know, 3 or 4 days. If you're not going to use it all, then bung it in the freezer until you think you will. For the taste test, I'm going to cook a few slices of the bacon. I'm going to do it on my cast iron griddle because I like it. But you could fry it, grill it, broil it. When the griddle's almost smoking, pop your bacon on, and you shouldn't need to add any fat because the fat on the edge will begin to render and lubricate the whole thing. So you see the way the bacon is bubbling up, you can reduce that if you just snip through the fat on the edge, because when it gets hot the fat contracts faster than the meat. I'm not too bothered about that, just press it down. Make sure the other side comes in contact with the hot plate and actually cooks. So there you go, no liquid coming out, just a teeny bit of fat rendering down. So that's actually, you know, as bacon goes, that's probably pretty healthy. And now, it's taste test time with Mrs. KeefCooks. Hello, Petal.
Hi guys, he's been making
bacon. Right, get stuck in.
Oh, all right then. See how he bosses me about, eh? Terrible it is.
Serve with homemade sourdough bread and the condiment of your choice. Or bacon and eggs. Oh no, sausage and eggs. Other things.
You got the bacon sorted, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can manage 2 pieces of sourdough to make a sandwich. You know the old adage about not talking with your mouth full. So yeah, salty bacon, and you put quite a lot of salt in the bread, didn't you? But you can't taste it.
That bread I didn't put any salt in at all.
Oh right, that explains it. So these two together. Bread without salt plus salty bacon. Nom nom. Can I take another bite or do you want to wave bite?
Yeah, no. Take another bite.
What that needs is fried tomato.
Coming soon on a video channel near you. You know it's fried tomato. Okay, alright. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time.